Terraria, a game which is sometimes inappropriately called 2D Minecraft, is a contender for the best game ever created. Whether or not you like the game, it is rated third best Steam game of all time with 97% positive reviews from 1.4 million gamers. And that's saying a lot. For a game that's been out since 2011, Terraria has been almost universally agreed upon as a good game. And personally, I've had only great experiences with Terraria, including with the modded versions of the game like Calamity. Terraria has been a game that has helped me get through tough times in the COVID lockdown. It's given me a break from life during the holidays and in the summer, and it's formed lifelong friendships for me. In the hopes of people finding or creating another game like Terraria, I figured it's necessary to analyze why Terraria was so successful in bringing about positive outcomes, not only for its success as a game, but also for everyone who played it. I feel it necessary to break down this analysis into three main components of Terraria that I find most significantly contribute to its positive effect on players. The first reason is world building, the second is multiplayer capabilities, the third is replayability, and the fourth, which is more of an honorable mention, is the music. And we'll go through this list one by one. So to start, when I say world building, I mean the design of the world and the randomness of the world. And in Terraria, on top of that, you can actually customize your world before you enter it. You can pick whether you want the corruption or the crimson to spread throughout your world. You can pick which difficulty you want, and you can choose the size of your world. But even if you pick the largest world size, the hardest difficulty, and your favorite curse every time, you still get a brand new world each time. Certain biomes and structures may be on the left or on the right of your spawn point. Each world is uniquely new, and it will feel like home for the duration of your run. Getting to know your world and feeling at home in it definitely contributed to the enjoyment and comfort of people while playing the game, and it did so for me as well. And in addition to the homey feeling of your Terraria world, you also get unique biomes that all serve significant purposes. The overworld is useful for building and starting the game. The corruption spreads and is needed for bosses. The ocean is needed for other bosses. The jungle is needed for late game progression. The dungeon has two different phases of progression. The underground is used for mining and reaching the underworld. All of these biomes have distinct purposes, making all of them have unique value within the story. And so these purposes go beyond just being a nice aesthetic. They make all the biomes specifically memorable. The underworld, for example, is your first difficult obstacle in your playthrough. So you remember building a platform for the wall of flesh, and you remember defeating it to unleash the spirits of dark and light. You remember searching the jungle for chlorophyte, as well as hoping you wouldn't accidentally destroy a Plantera bulb. You remember trying not to die in the dungeon as you farmed ectoplasm. Ultimately, every biome has its memorable moment, just as every phase of the game has its memorable moment. Combining these biome-specific memories with the homey feeling of your world, and each new Terraria run becomes a brand new story and adventure for you to tackle and remember for a long time. Now let's take a look at the significance of the multiplayer capabilities in Terraria. I don't know if most people play Terraria alone or with friends, but in my experience, Terraria was played with friends. Each person occupied one of the classes, whether that be Ranger, Melee, Magic, or Summoning, and each player serves a specific purpose in choosing their role. The Melee will tank, while the rest strategically take turns attacking and positioning themselves for success. One person builds the house, one person spends their time underground, one person explores the world, and maybe one person just flies around, killing things or doing nothing. And chatting with friends makes somewhat boring farming periods more interesting. Teamwork in boss fights makes the boss fights feel more rewarding, and it also brings you closer together as friends, since you must rely on each other to actually succeed. Everyone needs to learn to be humble and squash their pride when the ultimate goal is defeating the boss and not being the sole victor. Friends can also help find you items or help share gold when you need it. The experience just becomes a whole lot better, and it ultimately creates great friendships. Terraria has become a classic within the friend group now, and it brings us together with an explicit goal and purpose. Now when my friends and I mention starting up a new Terraria world, everyone gets excited and everyone looks forward to it. We enjoy it so much to the point of grinding out the game for days straight without even touching other games. And the last major reason that Terraria is the game of all games is its replayability. Any game that wants to leave a great legacy behind must be replayable. Terraria may have a linear story progression, but it has so many side quests and additional pieces of the game that can take up a whole lot of time. In addition to that, you usually pick one class to play for the entire run. That means you can beat the game in at least 4 different ways just from choosing the class alone. And even if you know all the components of the story, you still need to constantly refer to the wiki throughout your run, learning new things as you go. And even after beating the game with every class, by the time you've reached that point, you're probably missing the first class you ever played, and then the cycle begins again. Given enough time separate from the game, you will miss it and come back again. This is the nature of replayability of Terraria. With amazing world building that brings back good memories, and with great friendship, Terraria becomes a game that is infinitely desirable to return to day after day, month after month, and year after year. On top of this, once you think you've mastered the normal game, you can download modded versions for free from Steam as well. And these versions can take even longer to complete and add way more content to the original game. So a game that is seemingly simplistic in design is actually extremely complex and can create so many opportunities for enjoyment. The last tidbit that I'll add is that the game has great music. While this isn't the main reason the game is so fun, it does add tremendously to the experience. Each biome as part of your world has its own music theme. I've shown before that music is inextricably tied to memory. So adding memorable music to memorable biomes gives you a world that is unmatched by any other game. The music on its own became famous as a result, which just goes to show how influential this game really is. So the world building combined with friendship and replayability and the music together make Terraria one of the greatest games of all time, if not the greatest. It brings enjoyment like no other game, brings people together, reduces stress, makes you happy, and keeps you busy. Terraria is a game that I recommend anyone who enjoys gaming to try. It has brought me almost nothing but happiness and enjoyment, with the small exception of a few annoying bosses. But even then, Terraria is one of those games where defeat doesn't mean despair or anger. Somehow it just feels okay to lose to bosses. And I think when that happens, it's a good sign that the game is truly well made and brings you positive outcomes. Terraria is a truly mindful game, and I'm not afraid to recommend it to people to enjoy themselves and make friends. That being said, don't only take my recommendation, take the recommendation of the 1 million plus players who enjoyed the game. As always, stay mindful, and I'll see you all in the next episode.